Or it maybe it's just a quality of survival as well. Um, to kind of make rationality porous or something like that. I have no idea. So, but anyways, I kind of think that stream of consciousness is, I kind of find it lazy, and I kind of feel like Steinbeck, uh, it kind of patinas things when you find, when this idea of what might be, pursue rationality infinitely, and then all of a sudden the mechanism needs irrationality as well, or maybe that's some type of maybe laziness is, you know kind of how survival, the idea of survival has a reflection of itself, maybe something kind of like that. I don't know. But either way, when you read Faulkner's works, and most of it reads, like a logical, just uh, the normal language of logic and inference when you read his works, and then he goes off into these streams of consciousness, and you read it and you walk away feeling more enriched uh, about the story that's going on in the characters. That's no, I don't think that's an accident there. I think that there's something there. And so what, and if you read a stream of consciousness, it's kind of this, I don't know what he's, it's kind of, he might have been in some type of different state of consciousness. I think he probably was trying to describe the idea of life, you know, tried to enhance it a little bit by this other maybe kind of stream of consciousness, this different state or quality of consciousness, where writing becomes more kind of painted on the paper with, you know, I don't know, kind of more emotion, it's kind of a more emotional and kind of poetic and stuff. And so I don't think that's an accident that when you read his work and then you read his stream of consciousness within the work, it enriches the story. And you feel like you kind of get some type of vibe of what you're reading and what he wants you to experience. And it's so it kind of, I don't know, it makes it friendly. It makes it warm, and it kind of gives it some patina. Um, to the idea of life, or the idea of what he wants you to experience. And so that's kind of interesting because he was a writer, 100 years ago, and there's been a lot of people, psychologists, and just a lot of kind of thought on describing the consciousness. And he's a writer, and that kind of used a stream of consciousness to enrich the what he wanted you to experience. So he kind of, I don't know if it's like tapping into a different dimension or something, but he kind of he kind of used the language. He used language and just rearranged it differently. And then when you read it, you feel like you understand his story better. And so I think that's interesting. I don't think that's an accident. Um, so that's what I'm kind of talking about with laziness. There's this idea of and I think meditation can kind of make you aware of this, of being present and just, I don't know, just being, or just something along those lines. And maybe experience, maybe it kind of does slip you into an ultra consciousness, some kind of other, where you kind of just have a different perspective on life. Um, but you're still here, you're still really not living your life. It's just it kind of has I don't know. I don't really know. I'm sure people talk about it. I'm sure they write like books on reflections of meditation and you know, I'm sure there's a lot of literature out there. But it kind of gives it a patina a little bit, I think. Enriches it. And so I think that's a positive benefit of meditation, is kind of this awareness of or being conscious or something like that. Um, and it's something that you would recognize it as well. It doesn't feel very distant. It doesn't feel very far off. It feels old. It's something that it's almost something that would be you would recognize, like familiar. It has a familiarity about it. And so I think that's when Faulkner was writing, he'd go into stream of consciousness. Maybe it was when he was writing it, he would kind of express his story even more so. And so when you read that part, you feel it as if it's enriched. So so if you are a meditator and you like ideas and things like that, thinking about laziness is not a it's not a stretch. I think it kind of even helps you, especially when you're meditating, kind of maybe rearrange your hierarchy and just um, you can even, I think, even kind of start to build new hierarchies and think differently and those type of ideas. So that's just a little bit more about what I meant.